to Woodwork Journey. I'm Dean, thanks very much for joining me today. So today is the day we're going to talk about my dust collection ducting system, which I'm so happy with. It's ridiculous. But no, seriously, I'm stunned that it works as well as it does and how cheap it was to make as well. I'm going to talk you all the way through it, exactly what I did, where I got everything from, and then hopefully if you want to, you can do yours as well. So this was my super simple diagram where I figured out exactly what I wanted to do and the kind of measurements that I was going to be using. I didn't stick to this overly well, but it gave me an idea for exactly how much pipe I was going to need and also the connections that was going to go between them. I've also got the whole thing hooked up onto a little system right here, so away we go. Tell you one thing I didn't expect when I was living in the country, to have to stop filming every 2 minutes because there are fighter jets up above us going in circles. So annoying. Normal people just have cars. Flippin' heck. Right, carry on. So at the base of it is a pneumatic NV900. It's a 1050 watt single motor, and I got it off Facebook Marketplace for like 20 quid or something. It doesn't have a proper filter in it. I've only just started using a bag rather than letting it just build up on the inside. However, the barrel above takes care of most of that for me, thankfully. And this is the barrel and the cyclone that I use. They're just cheapies off Amazon once again. Now, when it comes to the barrel, I have got something which is a little bit of a hack, well, not even a hack, but the way you should do things properly on these puppies rather than having to worry about filling the insides with plywood. Let me show you. When it comes to these types of barrels, a lot of people will put plywood rings on the inside and all that sort of stuff to strengthen it, to stop it imploding when there's a blockage or something happens to the hose where air can't go through it, and the barrel will implode under the suction of the vacuum. However, that will always, even though it's reinforced, that will put a lot of stress on your motor of your vacuum because it's trying to pull and it's having a really hard time doing it. So that's a great way for it to overheat or knacker up the circuitry. The best way of doing that is by sticking a valve in the top, and let me just grab the camera and I'll show you where mine is. Right, I'm really hoping I can get the camera around for this, but there we go. That right there, I think it's called the Dust Commander. I'll make sure I leave a link down below. But with that valve right there, when there's too much pressure on the inside of the barrel, that just pulls that valve down and releases the pressure. So there's no need to have any kind of strengthening or anything like that in a barrel like this, because that'll work just fine. And it makes sure that the motor of your vacuum doesn't get overly stressed, which to me is a win-win, particularly as they're only about 8 quid or something. Okay, so this is where we get into the real meat and potatoes of this little project here, and I use this pipe. This is 40mm Floplast Push Fit pipe that I got from B&Q. Now this, I think, is a 2 meter length. I got all mine in 2 meter length so they could fit in the cart, and I bought 4 of them, and a bunch of fittings, things like these, which I'll talk about this in a second, but the whole thing cost me about 42 quid, and I've got 2 meters left over, so I horribly overestimated the need that I was going to have for this. But yeah, it's worked out really nicely. But let me tell you about these little connections. They do 45s, easy at the back, but they when it comes to the 90s, they do these ones, which have got a kind of a sweep to it rather than being kind of too angry. And let's remember that this dust system, as I'll show you in a minute, all the machines it's connected up to are designed just to make fine dust, so they're not going to be big chips or anything like that that's likely to get caught up in the system. So the idea of using 40mm rather than 68 or 100 seems to work in this kind of respect, particularly with using just the pneumatic NV900 as a vacuum for it. Let me show you the whole system though. Oh, actually, before I do, this is the great thing about the push fit pipe. See that O-ring that goes in there? You can pop that out if you want to, but that O-ring means that you get a nice seal on all of your joints, and I haven't had to seal anything up with tape or anything along those lines because it's just worked really well. And the other great thing is that when it comes to the placement of all of this sort of stuff, what you can do quite easily is be able to move things up to be able to get stuff out of the way and all that sort of nonsense, and then move it back, and it's not causing you any problems with the joint itself because you've not sealed it. And it's also easy should you get a a blockage or anything like that, it's also easy to be able to just pull it apart, fix the blockage, and then pop it all back together again. So this is the way my system works. We've got the cheap cyclone going on there, which is attached to the barrel with the valve in it, and then the pneumatic vacuum is down below. Up there we do have 40mm pipework coming out to a 45 degree, and that isn't a shelf for the pipework there. That's so I can mount my light, or my video light, up there nice and comfortably. Now then, underneath there, that just comes around, and you can see that we've got a 90 degree coming down there. That goes down to the to some pond hose, some 38mm pond hose, which then connects up to the back of the tables of the bandsaw. Then we move across, and I'll show you this one in a moment. But we've got right here, we've got another one that goes down to the drill press, and this is what I talked about in my safety video yesterday. I made this out of a mobile phone holder, just attached to some light duty pipe, and then I can guide that exactly where I want it to go when I'm drilling, which is brilliant. Now then, moving that up a little bit more, we've got another drop down. All of these have got blast gates, by the way, obviously, which I made a video for, so make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it already. This one comes down to using either the vac that cleans the shop, or I can attach it to my belt sander, and I've still got to make an enclosure for that puppy. Moving on, we've got another one right on the end there, and that is connected, or will be connected up to my miter saw down below. There's a pipe that goes from this section all the way under to the back where the dust collection hose is on the back of the saw, and yes, all I've got to do is just make that connection. Now, one thing that I do want to show you is up in that corner. I wouldn't call this a hack because it's something that just made sense, but I couldn't find any affordable stops to go onto the end of it when I went to B&Q and bought the rest of it. So what I did was I actually made one. Sorry if I covered the microphone then. I actually made one just with a bit of pipe onto some plywood. I Forstner drilled, we're using a Forstner bit, a 40mm hole in the middle of it, stuck that on there, another bit of plywood on the top. Jobs are good, and now that is a perfect and free bit of wood because I just used a bit of scrap bit of pipe as well. So a free stop block for your system. And it also means that if you want to extend the system again afterwards, you certainly can. But like I said, all of this is movable, and I can make sure that everything goes exactly where I want it. So when it comes to the blast gates, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that one on the top there, now that, whoop, that's going the wrong way. The one on the top there, that is my pièce de résistance, as it comes up across here, and then we go down, and that then goes down to a hose on my table, which I can use for any work that I do on the table with regards to sanding or sawing or anything else. But yeah, that just follows that all the way up, all the way around, and then down to that blast gate right there, which works really, really well. Now, when it comes to what I'm using to drive it all, I'm using these little special plugs that I got off Amazon. I used to use some much larger ones, but this comes with these remote. You get 3 of these plugs, and the thing that makes these better than what I was using before is these are only slightly wider or slightly larger than a regular plug. The ones I used to use had a big bit sticking out the top, so you couldn't do this. However, I got this 8-way unit purely because it puts everything on a slight angle, which does help. But also it's got these USB ports in there as well, which means that with everything from safety headphones or ear protection through to lights and all sorts of things that need charging, I can use this. Luckily, my pneumatic doesn't have an NVR switch. Now, if you have an NVR switch, that's a no voltage restrictor, I think it's called. And basically it means that if the power goes off, the switch resets. That makes sure that when the power comes back on again, it doesn't automatically start up the machine, which is a safety point of view. But you can do sort of various jiggery pokery to sort of rewire them and all that sort of stuff, but that's not something I'm going to get into today. As I said, my pneumatic doesn't have that, and it means that I can start it easily, which makes life a lot easier. Sorry, we're going a bit shaky handycam here. But one thing that I realised I didn't show you is the fact that back there I do have a Clark 1 horsepower big old machine that needs a proper filter on it. but that's what I intend to be using for my table saw and my thickness planer, but only those. The rest of it, as I said, is small dust work, so that works perfectly fine. But let me show you the problem I've got with the table saw. Right, let's lift that. You can already see that bank of stuff going on right there. Look at all of that. Now, this old Axminster is truly awful when it comes to dust collection. That's absolutely horrific, isn't it? But I think Charnwood or someone like that does this kind of like upside down pyramid with a looking plastic thing with a like 100mm hose on it. If I can get some of that, then I'm going to rebuild this whole table and incorporate one of those underneath here, so it really funnels all of the wood chippings and shavings and what have you from the table saw down into that big chip collector. But that's something I'm going to have to worry about when I've got the money to do that. If you'd be interested in seeing a build video on how I'm going to do a new cabinet for this saw, then please do let me know. I know it'll be difficult to do exactly the same for your saw because my Axminster TS250, I think it is super old now. So, but hopefully it will be able to give you some ideas about stuff that you could do for yours. But if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. Anyway, let's get back to the big boy. So, all in all, cost-wise, the pipe was about 40 quid. The 38mm pond hose that I've got for my drop down in the middle, as well as the connection to some of the machines there, was about 20 quid. I will try and post all these links on Amazon. I can't remember how much my Cyclone was, but if I can find the one that I bought again, I will pop a link down below for that. I can't put a link for the NVR pneumatic because they don't make that anymore, I don't believe. But anything else that I can find links for, I will. Now, try and link you to the pipe that I used on B&Q. The Amazon links will all be affiliate links, don't cost you anything else, but they just help the channel. But the B&Q one, not so much. But it was one of the things that I did on the pricing for this is once I did my initial sort of picture of that to figure out exactly how much I needed to do, I then did a price comparison in a very rag and bone brown kind of way up here to actually go through all of the different suppliers I could find of the Floplast Push Fit pipe, and B&Q actually came out to be the cheapest, so that's why I went with those guys for no other reason than that. But that's it. That is my system. It works so well. So well. I'm so happy with it. It's ridiculous. I've got to just put a hook so the dangling hose can kind of be hooked up and out of the way. But otherwise, I've got to try and make some multi-adapters to fit my tools for the dangling hose because I can't afford the CTS ones, unfortunately. So I'm going to see if I can make some out of regular old pipe work with a heat gun and a little bit of ingenuity. We'll see what happens on that one. But yeah, that's my dust collection system. If you enjoyed this, please do make sure that you're subscribed because I'm trying to get out a lot more content now the injuries have healed up a bit, and I know that a number of you watching aren't subscribed, but we're so close to 1,000 now. It would be awesome if you would. Also, if you wouldn't mind following me on Instagram, that'd be super, but that's entirely up to you. Hope this was helpful for you. I hope you learned something, and I hope you realised that it doesn't have to be super expensive. For under 100 quid, including the machine, I think that's my entire system, and it's working so well. I strongly advise you give it a shout. And that's it. Thank you. I'm really going this time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. What some people tend to do with these is put plywood rings to stop the barrel imploding in on itself. Hang on, the jet's coming again.